in Kenema. There is all these and more in the next 60 minutes. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the news here on First TV, on your First Television, and it's live from our studios here in Accra. We're also live across this country on some selected platforms. My name is Alfred Consent, out to our first story this afternoon, where the government will from next year sanction people who are indicted by the Attorney General's and Auditor General's report for various acts of financial malfeasance. There are President John Dramani Mahama, who announces at this year's Kloyo Sikpelemi, an annual festival celebrated by the chiefs and people of Yellow Krobo, stated that the move was part of his government's efforts to reduce waste and mounting corruption in the system.
The market, considered to be the biggest open market in West Africa, has already been hit by severe infernos 3 times this year and many times in 2013. In May this year, more than 30 shops were lost to a consuming blaze believed to have been triggered by faulty electric wires at the market square located in the Ashanti region. Last night's fire that also destroyed key infrastructure at parts of the markets comes days after government announced in the 2015 budget the acquisition of a facility for its construction. No casualty was reported. Officials are yet to give word on the cause of last night's fire. Open market in.
Well, so just as you saw, 4 shops at the Nkate lane of the Kumasi Central Market there, where mostly some granules are sold. Indeed, as you saw on your screens, were razed down by fire. That was Monday night, but for the swift response by the Ghana National Fire Service, the market would have experienced another major fire outbreak. So we're following up to that and to assess the loss that it has had. But if you recall, within this year alone, that Kumasi Central Market has experienced about 3 major fire outbreaks. And so the Ghana National Fire Service is assessing that situation there. But 3 days after the ruling National Democratic Congress NDC open nomination for its National Delegate Congress, which is slated for Kumasi, there seems to be a rush for the forms. Checks by First TV News reveal that almost all the top persons aspiring to contest the various national executive positions have indeed picked their forms. Those who couldn't make it to the party national headquarters sent representatives.
The General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, who communicated the decision of the NDC Functional Executive Committee to the media, gave December 13 as the date agreed on for the National Delegate Congress. The National Delegate Congress, which is scheduled to take place in Kumasi at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, will see some personalities like Dr. Kwabena Eje, Alhaji Hudu Yaya, Dan Abodapi, and Kofi Potofi contesting for the chairmanship slot. Whilst for the national vice chairmanship position, former Attorney General Betty Mould Idrisu, Danny Annan, Harry Zako, Alhaji Sinari, and Lee Okran will be contesting. The incumbent General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, is reportedly contesting the position unopposed. Meanwhile, First TV News can confirm that most of the aspirants have picked their forms. Some aspirants we have gathered picked their forms included the incumbent Chairman and General Secretary, Dan Abodapi, Kofi Potofi, Kofi Adams, and some women's organizer aspirants.
Picked it because my sister Anita Disoso has finished her bid. And as the saying goes, when a seat falls in the home, the same house people struggle for it. So I decided coming in to contest. Called me to contest for regional women organizer, which I did. I contested and won and worked for 4 years. After the 4 years, I came back and contested national. As deputy national women organizer, I won. I think I'm tested. I'm tested and won. Ghanaian women know that if they give the nod to Hajia Zainab Mahama Joyce, she will do exactly what they are expecting.
It tells me that the women have the trust in me. They know. If we talk about qualities of a leader, I have the love for my women's front, very humane, very respectful, hardworking. I have no doubt that the delegates, my colleague women organizers from the various constituencies and the regions, you know, the regions have just finished their elections equally, will endorse me to lead them because they know if they really need a good leader to lead the Women's Front for our dear party, to make sure that 2016 becomes a done deal, it's no other person than Margaret Chiravra.
Now, so that is what is happening with the NDC, National Delegates Congress. But the country is likely to secure a program with the International Monetary Fund by May next year, Fujito has gathered from persons close to negotiations with the International Monetary Fund. However, there are some critical conditions that the country must first meet before the program can be closed. Let's details of the particular story very shortly, but General Secretary of the Progressive People's Party, Kofi Assamoah, is not enthused about the 2015 budget statement of government, which is meant to bring transformation and hope to the year 2015. In his opinion, instead of providing hope, the budget has rather exacerbated the plight of the suffering masses. Finance Minister on Wednesday, November 19, 2014, presented the 2015 budget statement in Parliament. Now, but the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC, Kwabena Adekoka, said the budget is meant to propel the government's next step of development.
The budget, which was on the theme Transformational Agenda, Securing the Bright Medium Prospect of the Economy, among other things, focused on plans to move Ghana's economy into an industrial one. Seth Tepe also announced the introduction of new taxes on petroleum prices and imports, but removed taxes on the importation of smartphones into the country. However, the General Secretary of the Progressive People's Party, Kofi Assamoah, said the budget is uninspiring and full of rhetoric. He indicated that there was nothing in the budget to control government spending and to resuscitate Ghana's ailing economy. He indicated that due to the previous failed promises of government, this budget doesn't exude any confidence and trust.
In a bid, if you like, to take a certain battle to the doorsteps of Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP. But Ghanaians are not interested in MPP, NDC politics and policies on free SHS. There is supposed to be compulsory education for all Ghanaians at a basic level. That is what we are interested in. The president promised all of us. In fact, nobody should take this announcement serious, because the president himself and the Minister for Finance said it in 2014 budget that we're going to build 50 out of the 200 schools. None is done, none is completed, none is begun. So you come today and say that 2015 you build you introduce free SHS. Look, one, we are not happy about that proposal itself, and two, we don't believe that they are committed to what they are saying. They won't do it. It's that simple.
He fumed about the untold hardship the newly introduced taxes will bring on the ordinary Ghanaian.
Indication that the government is insensitive to the plight of many Ghanaians. We are at this stage, the least we expected is for government to introduce any form of taxes that will increase the prices at which we buy diesel and petrol. Because we have been introduced to full cost recovery. So we don't buy the argument that there's some kind of debt that must be recovered. We are paying full cost recovery, including exchange rates and foreign prices of petroleum products. Now we have energy crisis on our hands. Every company, every institution is spending extra money so that they can run their businesses on diesel generators. Now you go and introduce these taxes again. Now what we also don't believe is, maybe they need to come and explain to us more, that you increase VAT by 17% and the prices go up by 3%. We don't understand. Of tax coefficient. We don't know what is happening. 17.5% tax. Maybe they have removed the other taxes that is on the build-up and put in place the 17%. Maybe government want to generate more revenue, but I think that it's complete act of insensitivity towards a Ghanaian.
But contrary to the position of the PPP scribe, Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC, Joseph Adekoka, said Ghanaians must bear with government as it pursues a forward-moving and development-oriented budget.
To fix the economy, and we need to take hard decisions to fix the economy. For many a time, we've relied on import-oriented economy. We need to move from that to an export-oriented economy, and we need to take the decision that will enable us. At the end of the day, there's light at the tunnel. We agree that times are hard. We agree that the cost of petrol is coming. But do we want to sacrifice today for tomorrow? We need to sacrifice to ensure that our economy, I believe, there's hope, the budget is positive, we cannot have everything to be perfect. There are problems to do certain things. I hope and pray that we just give ourselves some time and see what the good Lord out there has in store for us.
Now, the minority leader in Parliament, Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu, has affirmed the readiness of the minority to critically scrutinize and carefully diagnose the government 2015 fiscal document, being the budget. Now, this, he said, was as part of its role, and the leader of the opposition MPP in Parliament was reacting to an earlier statement made by the Speaker that the debate of the budget should be devoid of extensive partisanship on the floor, and the budget debate has begun today.
Annually, the legislature has to fulfill a legal obligation of scrutinizing, debating, and subsequently approve the government financial policy and budget statement for the ensuing fiscal year. The debate of the budget per the standing orders of Parliament starts 48 hours after the finance minister has presented it to the House. To ensure members make constructive and useful inputs during the debate, the leadership of the House annually organizes a training workshop for members to give them a better understanding about what the budget entails. At the opening of this year's workshop, the Speaker, Right Honorable Doe Ajawo, emphatically stated that it is his desire this year's debate will be devoid of unnecessary criticism and partisanship.
The national budget approval process is an onerous responsibility that must be discharged from an informed position and with the requisite tools. It is in the recognition of this that Parliament has instituted this platform to provide honored members an opportunity to incorporate expert input in the consideration of the financial policy. It is also to promote better understanding of the complexities of the national budget as a technical document. Over the years, the post-budget workshop has been co-sponsored by donor partners, in particular the Canadian Parliamentary Centre. For the first time, Parliament has taken the full responsibility of resources to implement the post-budget workshop.
In reacting to the Speaker's statement, the minority leader, Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu, expressed the readiness of the minority to remain resolute in pointing out areas in the budget where some of the projections are unrealistic and elusive.
Be the penultimate budget to the election year 2016. If we do the things that we did, whole things that we did in 2012, again in 2016, to help Ghana, I don't think we need to do that. So you should caution approaching it, the election year. Never again. Otherwise, the consequences could be dire for us as a nation. So let's be bold, let's be sincere, let's be honest in critiquing the budget. Let's not attack personalities, let's attack issues, right? It is said in my language that So let's show our abhorrence to the issues that have led us to where we are now.
This was his impression about the 2015 budget, which the financial minister says has prospects to meet the Better Ghana agenda.
2013 wasn't the best, and 2014 was worse than 2013. Indeed, if you look at all the indicators of GDP growth rates, of inflation, of interest rates, of whatever yardstick that you apply, international reserves, everything is gone haywire. So clearly, we are on a cliffhanger now. In presenting the budget, I was listening attentively to the minister responsible for finance. Last year, we said in the course of the debate that of the 10 criteria set by the countries in the West African Monetary Zone, Ghana was only able to attain one. Unfortunately, by December last year, we had even slept on that one. As we speak today, of the 10 criteria, primary and secondary, Ghana faltered on all 10. And for last year, we were saying it was the worst performance in 22 years. This time, it represents the worst performance in 30 years. It means we are slipping. And we need to arrest the slip and position ourselves on a good foundation in order for us to be able to launch ourselves. But what can we hold on to do that for us? Agriculture, industrialization to generate employment. Agriculture is not doing very well. The industry is not also doing well. Industry is not doing well because agriculture is not doing well. And again, power, which is supposed to be the lifeblood of industry, it's also become very epileptic.
And now, members of parliament have called for better enforcement of road safety regulations, especially for commercial transport operators in the country. Now, the MPs bemoaned the current situation where the lack of regulation has brought much indiscipline in the sector, translating into the loss of thousands of lives on our roads. Now, comments came after a member of parliament for Bekwai, Jose Ozu, presented a statement to parliament to mark this year's National Public Transport Day, which falls on the third Monday of November each year.
The MP for Bekwai, Honorable Joe Osei-Owusu, made the statement on the commemoration of the National Public Transport Day, which fell on the 19th of November this year. The National Public Transport Day was instituted in 2009 by the National Road Safety Commission and observed on the third Wednesday of the month of November every year to, among others, raise the profile of public transport as a national development concern and also encourage policymakers and politicians to patronize public road transport services so that their experiences will influence them to initiate or support reforms within the road transport sector. Road transportation accounts for almost 97% of transport needs in Ghana and controlled by private organized and unionized operators, with minimal participation by Metro Mass Transit Limited and Intercity STC. The MP said, unfortunately, the private sector transport service providers are not sufficiently regulated and, as a result, do not consider safety as a priority operational concern, and this situation impacts negatively on our national road safety situation. He added that today, to get into the space of the industry, all one needs to do is a bus registered for commercial purposes and a driver without any licensing regime for operators. This situation, according to him, offends global. The effect is a transport system characterized by low-skilled and paid commercial drivers, poor maintenance regime, poor safety and quality control systems, and the resultant deaths that occur as a consequence of this helpless situation. LI 2180, which has sufficient opportunities to help address these lapses that will transform to a large extent the quality of the commercial passenger operations in the country.
Today, to get into that space or industry, all anyone needs is a bus registered for commercial purposes and a driver without any licensing regime for operators. This situation offends global best practice. The effect is a transport system characterized by low-skilled and low-paid commercial drivers, poor maintenance regime, poor safety and quality control systems, and the resultant deaths that occur as a result of these helpless situations. Data from the National Road Safety Commission suggests that averages of 2,000 deaths are recorded yearly through road traffic crashes, and almost 880 of these deaths, or 23%, are passenger-related. We must reform the entry, operations, and exit to the commercial passenger transport operations for the public good. That way, these needless deaths will be managed and reduced significantly. Mr. Speaker, the road traffic regulations, LI 2180, came into force in the year 2012 with sufficient opportunities to help address these lapses that will transform to a large extent the quality of commercial passenger operations in this country. Unfortunately, we are yet to give effect to the regulations as we continue to record needless deaths.
He added that this will improve our road safety efforts because failure to meet these conditions may lead to revocation of operators' licenses, and service providers will be proactive. Locally, the examples of Intercity SCC, in spite of their recent management concerns, their safety record is unquestionable. Other members also made contributions on the statement at the floor of Parliament.
I want to touch on spare parts dealers. I think they should be encouraged, given more money to be able to establish themselves so that they don't sell fake or spare parts that are not genuine. We know that people in Abossey are doing a very, very good job for this country. And I think that they should be upgraded, they should be encouraged, they should be, maybe they have an association. Government can help them to get more capital to be able to bring more better spare parts for the use of these vehicles that ply the road.
Okay, so let's find out our pension tips for today.
Sticking with default funds is one of the key pension mistakes an employee must avoid. If you don't choose your pension investments, your money will most likely be sitting in a default fund. The problem with this is that the performance of these funds can vary greatly, and they also tend to be fairly cautious.
Pension Tips is brought to you by PenTrust. Call them for all your Tier 2 and 3 pension plans on 0302 901 500 or 0501 291 030. PenTrust, discipline.
This is watching the news here on First TV and your First Digital Television. We will be back shortly with some more news after this quick break. Don't go away.
Like us on Facebook at First Digital TV.
I love you, you love me. Baby, I know it's true. Sometimes it's crazy.
You can now pay your 20 Ghana Cedis First Digital subscription at your nearest GN Bank. Just walk in with your UN number, which you can find by pressing CAS on your remote. Please pay now to avoid disconnection. Call 0243 002222 for more information. First Digital, for the Ghanaian in you.
This is Nane Foa. She's thinking about how to cover her university education in the future. Mr. Sari is so confused about how to list his company on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Atta is an organizer and is wondering how to expand his business someday.
Do you want to buy shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange? Or probably sell your shares? Are you interested in investing in treasury bills? Have you been thinking about listing your company on the Ghana Stock Exchange? Talk to GN Investment today. You can reach GN Investment on 030-9788-3819.
Efua's parents learned from GN Investment how they can invest money to pay for her university tuition. GN Investment helps Mr. Sari with market research, company valuation and how to list his company on the Ghana Stock Exchange. GN Investments visits Atta and advises him on how to grow his small business.
At GN Investment, we proudly say that we invest with discipline.
Hello, my name is Annie Efua Ampofo, host of the First Show on First TV on a platform, First Digital. The First Show displays to you a lot of issues on your table. Talk about education, social matters, security, politics, and of course, entertainment.
Obviously, government people think it was some animal standpoint. Government is you and I, it's our money. If you want me to debate him on good economic governance, invite me.
We've done things the same way for many years and we are not getting any different results. You have to balance it. You have to find a way and you have to find champions there.
The fact that a journalist may not be professional at what he or she does not give anybody the right to assault the journalist in the line of duty.
You can't say someone should dress the way you like. If the fabric is very busy, the style should be as simple as possible.
We rise above the noise every Monday to Friday and join me from 6:45 to 9 a.m. as I serve you with breakfast. The First Show, issues worth your time.
For buying someone a phone, does God find reasons of giving you a
Mashi loved it.
Unnecessary party, following women, buying irrelevant stuff.
The secrets, if I should call it, I wonder if they are secrets. I don't think they are secrets.
I didn't have a list of things I wanted from a guy, but then it was just the connection. We just clicked.
That you want in a man, in your California love, California digger.
For me, I first look at physicality there.
You know, it embraces and entails an entire person.
That man up there
who is protecting all of us. We seem to forget. We don't read our Bibles.
Young Adults, showing this and every Saturday at 5 p.m. and repeated on Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
You're welcome back to the news here on First TV. And let's now go for natural resources, environment, and governance updates.
The Ghana Chamber of Mines has dismissed claims that some of its member companies, particularly Newmont, are engaged in large-scale illegal mining activities because of the non-ratification of their leases by government. Mr. Suleiman Akone, acting Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, said the Chamber members were operating within the confines of the law after they had met stringent regulations and procedures in line with the permits granted them by the relevant regulatory bodies. What is required of a mining company to start operations, be it mining lease, environmental permits and operating permits, the companies have secured all to start operation, he said. While there was a point that the leases had not been presented to Parliament, that did not make the operations of the companies illegal, since they had obtained the necessary permits from the state to commence operations. Besides, Mr. Kone said it was not the responsibility of a mining company to submit a lease to Parliament for ratification, and that the onus lay on the executive, whose duty it was to forward such agreements to Parliament. He said, while the Chamber agreed that the rule of law must be respected, it disagreed with the description of the operations of such of its members as Galamsey because of the failure of the executive to have the leases ratified by Parliament. Standard & Poor's said it had lowered its credit rating for British oil and gas explorer Tullow Oil after it had announced a review of its African business, which would increase its exposure to Ghana. The recent sharp declines in oil prices put further pressure on Tullow's profit outlook, S&P said, after it cut its long-term corporate credit rating for Tullow to BB from BB. Tullow Oil has recently announced potential adjustments in its investment plans, which could increase Tullow's exposure to Ghana. We consider that this represents a rating constraint, the rating agency said in a statement.
Let's now go for some business news. Now, General Manager in charge of Finance and Administration at GN Bank, Isa Adam, has urged government to do its part to ensure the policy rate by the Bank of Ghana is reduced so as to enable banks reduce interest rates. The government will, from January next year, declare war on high interest rates being charged by all the commercial banks and other financial institutions in the country. The move, the government says, would help reduce the cost of credit to small and medium enterprises and other businesses in the West Africa sub-region and second largest economy.
Statistics from the Asia Development Bank to support his argument. He stated that lending rates in Indonesia average 11.7%. South Korea is about 4.6%. In the USA, it is possible to obtain a car loan at 0%. But in Ghana, lending rates range from 28% to 35% in the formal financial institutions and 45% to 120% in the microfinance institutions, depending on the sector they are lending to. Many Ghanaians, including the banking industry experts and general manager in charge of finance and administration at GN Bank, Mr. Issa Adam, lauded the government's intention to clamp down on banks which charged high lending rates in the country, but he asked the government to bring its interest rate down by reducing the Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) policy rate, which stands at 21%.
Well, much as we agree that interest rates are quite high, basically that is lending rates quite high in this country, because if you look at the sub-region, I think Ghana has the highest interest rates on borrowing or lending. But you see, the point is that government also borrows from the general public. Exactly. And government borrows. Only a couple of weeks ago, the government or the Bank of Ghana increased its prime rates from 19% to 21%. Banks have what we call their base rates. And the base rate is nothing but trying to recover what their operational costs. That's what is used to determine the base rate. Then, after determining the base rate, you need to add a few more basis points to arrive at the interest rate that you will charge your customers. The government alone is borrowing at 25.5% or 25.8%. Then obviously you don't expect the banks to borrow or lend less than 25.8%. The 91-day TB rate is about 25.8%. So how much do you want the banks to also lend? Obviously, we will have to lend over and above what government is taking. Otherwise, we will not even be able to meet our operational costs. So, yeah, it's a good call, but the fundamentals in the economy must be addressed.
Mr. Issa Adam also assured small and medium-scale enterprises of GN Bank's objective to introduce facilities that will boost the profit and facilitate the expansion of small-medium enterprises.
We have a very good package for SMEs in this country. We are currently looking at increasing our loan portfolio. We are providing a lot more services to them. In the past, we were a savings and loans company, so there were a lot of things that we couldn't do. But now that we have become a universal bank, we have a lot more things to do and to support the SMEs. We can now establish letters of credit, that's trade finance, and a whole lot of things, international trade. And we can also clear their checks faster than we were doing before. This time we'll serve on the clearing house and be able to clear checks faster for the SMEs. But above all, we have received support from Soros, a development fund. And what we intend doing is to be able to support. We are opening a lot more branches or locations in the rural areas. Our focus is on the ordinary Ghanaian, to be able to take banking to the doorsteps of every Ghanaian, everywhere in Ghana. And we are not a high street bank. We are the People's Bank, where we hope to address the issues of the unbanked in this country. And that is what GN Bank stands for.
Now, 4 local insurance companies have successfully secured a deal to underwrite the Ghana Gas Infrastructure Project at Tuabo to the tune of about $801 million. Now, First Digital Business News has gathered the deal, which is one of the biggest to be underwritten locally, is a major milestone towards ensuring local content participation in the emerging oil and gas industry.
According to him, there is an urgent need to focus more on helping to grow the capacity.
Persons familiar with the deal said it was made possible through a consortium of insurers that include SIC, Glyco, Phoenix Insurance and Vanguard Assurance, and will cover the production phase of the biggest gas project in the country, which is expected to start early next year. Information available indicates that SIC will assume 50% of the risk cover, while Glyco will take up 30%, with Phoenix Insurance and Vanguard Assurance acquiring 10% each. SIC is not new to the Ghana Gas project, as it provided insurance cover for the $1 billion project during the construction phase. However, some insurance practitioners are curious at the non-participation in the deal by 3 of the top 5 biggest insurance companies in the country, who together an asset base of over 178 million Ghana cedis. Nonetheless, the local risk cover for the Ghana Gas project is seen as a way to ensure that activities of burgeoning oil and sector are consistent with provisions in the local content and insurance laws. The deal also negates concerns that risk cover in the petroleum industry is beyond the capacity of domestic insurance companies. Ghana currently has a gas deficit of about 200 billion standard cubic feet offshore the Jubilee field, which the country wants to utilize as a source of cheap fuel to power its thermal plants to generate electricity. The Energy and Petroleum Minister, Emmanuel Kofi Boah, argues that when in full production, the Atuabo gas processing plant is expected to save the nation over $500 million a year from importing light crude to power the thermal plants, as gas costs barely half of the price of light crude oil.
Okay, so let's find out how the city is faring against some major currencies on the forex market.
Market and Forex News is brought to you by Gold Coast Fund Management. Call them for free investment advice and get more details on their products on 0302 11411 or 0277 56877.
Let's cross over into the studios of Sports 24, and Akosia Amoa is standing by with all the news in the world of sports.
Good afternoon to you, and welcome to the sports segment of the news with me, Akosia Amoa, from the studios of Sports 24 here this afternoon. On to our first story for the afternoon, the communication director of the Ghana Football Association, Ibrahim Sani Dara, says the GFA will not pressure incoming Black Stars coach Ivan Grant to win the African 2015 Cup in Equatorial Guinea. He told the media that even though there would be performance-related clauses embedded in his contract, practically it would be unrealistic for the GFA to expect a triumph from the Grant so soon. If all goes well, Grant will take up office from December 1st, 2014, and the tournament starts the title over month after that. So whilst he would receive some monies as per the stage he is able to take the Black Stars to during the tournament, practically, it will be unrealistic for us to ask him to win the 2015 African Cup of Nations. We have certain targets, and obviously, if he wins it, that is a welcome bonus. But it is not an entrenched requirement. Sani told the media that Grant will be required to establish relationships with the handlers of the local Black Stars, Black Satellite, and Black Meteors in order to spot fresh talent for the Black Stars. As part of his big brief, Grant will be building synergies with the handlers of the other male-age national teams. We consider the local Black Stars, the Black Satellite, and the Black Meteors as very important in the scheme of things with regards to bringing up fresh talent. So he would be working closely with the handlers of these teams to expose fresh talent for the Black Stars. Grant is expected to be formally announced as Black Stars head coach after a GFA executive committee meeting on Wednesday, after the Ministry of Youth and Sports approved his appointment last week. So away from that to some international stories, Jose Mourinho is keen for Chelsea to beat Schalke on Tuesday night to avoid taking qualification for the latter stages of the UEFA Champions League draw to the last round of 16. Chelsea travelled to Gelsenkirchen for a top-of-the-table clash with Schalke, who are 3 points behind the West London side in Champions League Group G. Defeat will leave Chelsea in danger of not reaching the last 32 of the competition, a scenario that Mourinho admits will be devastating for his side. We have 2 matches to do that qualifies for the Champions League knockout stages, but obviously it will be better for us to qualify on Tuesday, the Portuguese said. In 2012, Roberto Di Matteo led an aging Chelsea side past Barcelona and Bayern Munich as the Blues were crowned kings of Europe. We have so many matches in December, so it is better if you can qualify and avoid the pressure. Obviously, that will be very good for us, but the reality is that we need points and we will try and do that tomorrow. Going into the Europa League will be very bad for the team, because the team gets better and the evolution gets faster when you play in the best competitions against the best team. I have repeated that to my players already, that going into the Europa League is something that will be very disappointing for us. So that's it for sports this afternoon with me, Akosi Amwa, from the studios of Sports 24. We're going back into the studios of Press TV as Grace Asari continues with the entertainment news. Please do stay.
And good afternoon, welcome to the entertainment segment of the news. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. Until first story this afternoon, former Vision in Progress VIP member Promzi, in an interview, said Reggie Rockstone masterminded the plan for his sack from the new supergroup VVIP. Promzi said they were cool and had made plans for a new project they were about to get underway. Reggie Rockstone thinks Promzi is raising hell because the group is shining.
The grandpapa took to microblogging site Twitter to say, "It just hit me that my actual joining of the group VIP started as a joke on here. Remember, y'all are my witnesses. Before Lazy and Prod aired it live at Reggie Rockstone, if VVIP ad flopped, none of this would be popping up. Can't stop the shine. We can't stop." At Reggie Rockstone, Zio said, Promzi had on many occasions come to us wanting to leave the group and embark on a solo career, and we had on many occasions talked him into seeing the positive side of staying together as a group. However, before he even came up to us this last time, he had already started his own solo career with a recording. The VVIP member added that we had a meeting with Promzi and Bulldog, who was our manager at the time, and it was during this meeting that he told us that he was leaving. Reggie Rockstone was nowhere in the conversation, and he was not even in contemplation. Zio noted that after Promzi left, they even went to Nigeria to shoot a music video with Terry G alone without him, and it was 3 months after this video that the whole Reggie talk came in.
And a group of young men in the hometown of embattled hip life musician Kwakasi are threatening to hit the streets if the musician is not released from custody. The group, calling themselves Ghetto Boys in Agna Swedjo, has described the detention of the king of the streets as unjust.
The controversial hip-life artist was on Saturday night arrested by the Kumasi police for allegedly smoking a substance suspected to be marijuana. He appeared on Monday at Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Circuit Court and was remanded in prison custody after a plea for bail by his lawyer was ignored. Kwao was remanded in police custody on Monday to reappear on December 8th to allow for police investigations. In an interview, the disgruntled youth maintained that the police erred in arresting their hero. They explained that Kwao is a very generous man who gives them money as well as buys rice and other foodstuff for them whenever he visits Agna Swedjo. Everyone knows Kwao smokes weed. He is the king of the streets, so why this arrest? A member of the group quizzed. The Ghetto Boys are therefore calling on the Inspector of Police, Mohammed Al-Hassan, to release Kwao.
So on that abodam note, that's it for the entertainment segment of the news. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. Our weather report is up next. Please stay.
So that's the weather given to us by the Ghana Meteorological Agency. If there are any changes, they'll tell us, and we'll definitely let you know about it. Let's now go for some international news. On the international front, we start off with the United States, and the U.S. town of Ferguson has seen rioting and looting after a jury decided not to bring charges over the killing of a black teenager, Michael Brown, who was shot by a white police officer, Darren Wilson, on the 9th of August, sparking protests. A police chief said violence in the suburb of St. Louis, Missouri, was probably much worse than on any night since the teenager's death. St. Louis County Police Chief John Belmer said rioters had fired 150 shots. Many in the African American community had called for Mr. Wilson to be charged with murder, but following lengthy deliberations, a grand jury of 9 white and 3 black members made no recommendation of charges.
Using the gas, here come more canisters now. Here come flashbangs and canisters coming right up at us. We're going to have to move back here in a second. There's a big volley now of it. A couple of dozens. We don't know what that sound was. There was some gunfire before. They're throwing the canisters back from the crowd back towards the officers. This is what happened a few minutes ago. It's a way of dispersing people.
We're good. So Chris, can you
still hear us, Don?
So Chris, so again, if you come to us where we are now, you can see that the gas is coming this way. Protesters have started coming here. There's a woman near us who has been injured, and again, people are being overcome with tear gas. And we are as well. We can get some water. I want to go now to CNN's Jason Carroll. Jason is out in the crowd. Jason, what are you seeing?
Don, same thing. We were on the back end of where the officers were. We got hit with that tear gas once, so I know how that feels, but now we're on the back end. You can see where the officers are. They formed a line here on the opposite side of the street, and they are slowly moving forward. As they do, they are firing tear gas in that direction. As we've been down here on this end, you can see one of the police cars here that the protesters banged. They smashed the windows here. They were throwing bricks. Many of the bricks, this is what they were throwing at some of the police cars as demonstrators were coming through the street here. But you can see the line of officers now. They've cleared the demonstrators off from this point. They're slowly moving in that direction. This is as far as we can go because of the tear gas situation. They're slowly moving up the street, slowly firing as they move and proceed.
Well, so there's a lot happening in there, but it will definitely bring you an update of the situation as it goes by. But let's go to Sierra Leone, where burial workers in the Sierra Leonean city of Kenema have dumped bodies in public in protest at the non-payment of allowances for handling Ebola victims. The workers, who have gone on strike over the issue, left 15 bodies abandoned at the city's main hospital. One of the bodies was reportedly left by the hospital's manager's office and 2 others by the hospital entrance. Sierra Leone is one of the countries worst affected by this year's Ebola outbreak.
Burial workers in the Sierra Leonean city of Kenema have dumped bodies in public in protest at non-payment of allowances for handling Ebola victims. The workers, who have gone on strike over the issue, left 15 bodies abandoned at the city's main hospital. One of the bodies was reportedly left by the hospital manager's office and 2 others by the hospital entrance. Sierra Leone is one of the countries worst affected by this year's Ebola outbreak, with more than 1,200 deaths. Kenema is the 3rd largest city in Sierra Leone and the biggest in the east, where the Ebola outbreak first emerged in the country. The workers told a BBC reporter they had not been paid agreed extra risk allowances for October and November.
Okay, so that's it for the news this afternoon. It came to you live from our studios here in Accra. But remember to join us exactly 6 p.m. as we bring you some more updated news. But it's been a teamwork. On behalf of the rest of the team, thank you for watching this afternoon, and log on to our news website www.firstdigitalghana.com for some more news. My name is Alfred Akansi. Good afternoon.